Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, April the 22nd. We got a 6-game Thursday slate to break down. As always, guys, we're going to go through each game, talk about each team on this 6-game slate. I'll give you guys my early thoughts, what does stand out to me, looking at this slate the night before, looking at it on Wednesday night. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, guys, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. And if you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. Once again, I should be live Thursday afternoon around 4:30 Eastern time. Should be live on my YouTube channel breaking down the slate, answering all your guys' questions. So if you're free Thursday afternoon, you want to tune into the live stream, we'll talk through everything there, can answer all your guys' questions. If any news comes out during the day, we can always hit on that in the live stream. But yeah, guys, appreciate you watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's slate. So we'll start off with the Phoenix and Boston game. Looking at the Phoenix side here, really not much stands out to me from the Suns today. This is a back-to-back for Phoenix. I would assume that everyone's going to be good to go, but the matchup here against the Celtics is not great. Everyone on Phoenix kind of feels priced appropriately. If I had to play any Sun today, it would probably be either Chris Paul or DeAndre Ayton. Chris Paul at 7,600 did have a really good game on Wednesday night against the Sixers. Had 48 DK points in 34 minutes. We know Chris Paul, has that kind of upside in him. He's kind of been hurt by blowouts a lot lately. Like, his minutes have been limited a lot due to blowout. But if this game can stay close and we do get, 32, 34 minutes from Chris Paul, he could easily go for 40, 45 DK points, if not more than that. Is Chris Paul like an optimal play today? No, but in tournaments, I don't mind him. Same could be said for DeAndre Ayton. The minutes kind of went down on DeAndre Ayton in Wednesday's game. Only played 29. That was a tough matchup for him against Embiid. I think he was in some foul trouble there. A little bit of a better spot here against Boston. They're without Robert Williams, so it'll be a better matchup for Ayton going up against Tristan Thompson. If you want to go to Ayton, I don't mind him either, but there's really no standout plays for me from Phoenix. Just overall, this is not a team I normally, look to go too heavy on. I think that's going to be the case today. Now, on the Boston side, there's a lot more to like here because Boston could definitely wind up being very shorthanded for tonight's game. So Jason Tatum is currently questionable. Jaylen Brown is doubtful, and Kemba Walker is expected to play. He's probable. So the big ones are really Tatum, who's questionable, and Brown, who's doubtful. With Brown doubtful, I'm not expecting him to play. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, though, questionable. Really don't know if he's going to be in or out. I believe this is the front end of a back-to-back for the Celtics. They do play again on Thursday. I'd assume that Tatum probably sits out one of these two games. My best guess is that Kemba Walker will play this game, and then he'll sit out on Thursday. Maybe we get Tatum out. I don't really know. If Tatum does play, though, I do have some interest in him at 10,200, even at this expensive price point. He looks like a solid pay-up option, just given that Jaylen Brown is out, or Jaylen Brown's doubtful. And with Jaylen Brown off the floor, Tatum does get a little bit of a usage bump. Has more upside overall. Last game without Jaylen Brown, last game was without Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart, Last game, Kemba and Smart were both out. Jason Tatum had a triple-double in that game, shot terribly from the field, and still had, almost 50 DK points. Obviously, Kemba back here, Smart back, but no Brown, so the upside's still there for Jason Tatum at 10,200. Kemba Walker, though, I think is the guy that really stands out at 7,400. He just feels underpriced, in my opinion, for Jaylen Brown being doubtful today. I like Kemba a lot on Yahoo as well. Coming in pretty affordable there at $28. He's probably one of my favorite point guard plays right now. Just without Jaylen Brown, we know Kemba gets a boost, sees a nice bump in usage, should just have the ball in his hands more, should get more opportunity to score. We know Kemba's going to play the minutes as well. As long as the game is close, he should play probably 35, 36 minutes. I assume he'll be full go for today's game, and then he'll probably sit out Thursday on the front end of the back-to-back. So I do like Kemba here at 7,400. He's definitely my favorite play from the Celtics team. Have some interest in Jason Tatum too. Marcus Smart, though, I like quite a bit as well at 6,600. Obviously, if Jason Tatum gets ruled out, then that just makes me like Smart even more. But I think with Jaylen Brown doubtful, that definitely also gives a boost to Marcus Smart. Really, whenever one of these big threes out, whenever Kemba's out or Tatum's out or Brown's out, it really just benefits the other guys that are playing. So today we're going to have no Brown, so that benefits Smart, Tatum, and Kemba. We could maybe have no Tatum as well, which would make me like Smart and Kemba even more. But Smart, we know we're getting big minutes from him. Normally this is someone I don't really like playing, but whenever one of the big threes out from Boston, Smart's someone actually, we'll definitely get to. And I think on this slate, he's appealing to me. even at 6,600, he does stand out as well from this Boston team. And I like him a lot on Yahoo at shooting guard. Shooting guard position is not the best today on Yahoo, so I think at $24, Marcus Smart definitely stands out. It's one of the better plays at shooting guard on Yahoo. So Tatum, Smart, Kemba, like all three of those guys from Boston today with Jaylen Brown doubtful. And obviously if Tatum sits, I'm going to like Kemba and Smart even more. But outside of those guys, like I don't see too much else I like on Boston. Tristan Thompson at 4,800, going to continue to get around 28 to 30 minutes without Robert Williams, but Thompson really hasn't shown much upside at all. I mean, last game he played 33 minutes and only had 19 DK points, so I don't really want to play Tristan Thompson. Peyton Pritchard, I think, could be viable if Jason Tatum is out. He did play 31 minutes last game without Smart and without Kemba, had 21 DK points. If Tatum winds up sitting too, then you could definitely go to Peyton Pritchard, I guess. But really, I want to stick to the top guys here. Tatum, assuming he plays, Kemba, and Smart. Those are the guys I really like from Boston today. But moving on to the next game, New Orleans and Orlando. So in the Pelicans today, I don't see too much that really stands out here. This matchup against the Magic's all right, I guess. 9,900 for Zion. He doesn't really stand out as a top stud option for me. I think I would give the edge to Tatum over Zion today if Tatum winds up playing. I think I'd lean there, but that would definitely be close. You could always play Zion, but I don't know if I'm really going to get to him on this slate. There's just other guys I'd rather pay up for. Brandon Ingram at 8,700 just feels appropriately priced, if not a little bit too expensive. Overall, this New Orleans team I don't have much interest in at all today. Nothing really stands out from the Pelicans. I don't see anything that really catches my eye. I really don't feel like I'm going to be rostering any of these guys today, at least not in my one lineup. So we can go ahead and move on to the Orlando side. Now, talking about the Magic here, this is a very appealing matchup for the Magic. Getting to face a Pelicans team that plays fast, that doesn't play a ton of defense. Guys like Cole Anthony, Chumo Kiki, I think are definitely viable. Cole Anthony's the one that really stands out to me from Orlando. 6,400 on DK. Like him a good amount still at that DK price tag. And on Yahoo at $22, I think along with Kemba, he looks like one of the better mid-range options at point guard. Just continues to get the minutes. Last game, played 31 minutes with Michael Carter-Williams out. He's been starting their last 3 games. In those 3 games that he has started, he's played 29, 34, and 31 minutes and has scored 35, 39, and 38 DK points. Been super consistent. The minutes have been there. The matchup's really good today. I think we can, easily get 6, 7x value on this salary from Cole Anthony. I think his price it's starting to get up there, but I still don't think he's out of play yet. If he was like 7K today, then that would probably be a little bit too expensive, but at 6,400, we can still go to Cole Anthony at this price point. He is definitely my favorite play from the Magic today. Terrence Ross is questionable. If he plays, I don't think that impacts too much outside of, if Terrence Ross plays, that really takes me off of Dwayne Bacon. I don't think Terrence Ross playing is going to impact Cole Anthony too much. We saw Cole Anthony have a good game, when Ross was in, so I would still like Cole Anthony even if Ross plays. If Ross is out again, though, then you could go to Dwayne Bacon. Obviously, a lot of us got burned by Dwayne Bacon last slate. He had that really good game against Houston whenever Terrence Ross was out, played 33 minutes, had 34 DK points. Then Terrence Ross was out the next game, and Bacon, kind of came back down to earth. Only had 15 DK points in 30 minutes. We know he's going to get the minutes, though. The matchup is really good. If Terrence Ross is out again, I think Dwayne Bacon is still a pretty solid value play. I know he disappointed last game, but I would be fine going back to Dwayne Bacon today as long as Ross remains out. But honestly, I don't see too much else from the Magic that I really like outside of those few guys. So that probably does it for this game. Moving on to the next one, Philadelphia and Milwaukee. So on the Sixers, pretty important, injuries to talk about here. So Joel Embiid, he was questionable for Wednesday. He ultimately wound up playing. He had a really good game Wednesday. Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris were both out. Embiid played 33 minutes against Phoenix, had 68 DraftKings points. He went out there and crushed, as you would expect. Assuming that he plays here, they said, or there was word that, I saw he got injured in Wednesday's game. He tweaked his knee or something, but they've already come out and said that he plans to play for today. So assuming Embiid's good to go, I think he's a really good pay-up option. Now, if Simmons and Harris both play, that will definitely lower my interest in Embiid, but he would still be viable even if those guys are in. If Simmons and Harris are out again, though, then I think Embiid's probably one of the top stud options. We've seen what he's done these last 2 games without Harris and without Simmons, put up 60-plus DK points in both games, so definitely like Embiid today. Now, Simmons and Harris, even if they play, I don't have a ton of interest in them at their price tags. Neither one really stands out to me. Overall, I think from Philadelphia, it's really just Embiid for me, and that's probably it. Now, if Simmons and Harris both get ruled out again, obviously I really like Embiid. Then we could look to some of these other guys like Shake Milton I liked a lot Wednesday night once we got the news that Simmons and Harris and Curry were all out. I thought Seth Curry being out was huge for Shake Milton. He moved into the starting lineup. He was probably going to play around 30-plus minutes, and he just had a god-awful game, which is super tilting because I played him in my main lineup. But he had a god-awful game Wednesday. Only played 24 minutes in the starting lineup, only had 11 DK points. But, if Simmons, Harris, and Curry are all out again, I'm fine going back to Shake Milton. I know he disappointed Wednesday night for a lot of people, but I'm going right back to him, or I'd be interested in him for sure if all these guys remain out. Now, obviously, if Simmons, Harris, and Curry play, I have no interest in Milton. And really, I'm not going to have interest in anyone else on this team, or I'm not going to have interest in anyone on this team if those guys are in outside of Joel Embiid. So that does it for the Philadelphia side. Now, moving on to Milwaukee. So right now, Draftkings has Giannis listed as questionable, but I don't think he's actually on the injury report. I haven't seen anything about him being injured. It just looks like he exited their game early. So I'm assuming Giannis is going to be good to go here. Assuming Giannis plays, you could put him up there in terms of, top stud options for today. We don't have a ton of studs. You got, obviously, Embiid. You got, Tatum you could go to. We got Zion, but not much else outside of those guys, so I think Giannis is one of the best stud options today. He finally got back to his normal minutes last game, played 35 minutes against Phoenix, had 48 DK points. He's no longer limited. He's going to play his normal 30-plus minutes here as long as this game stays closed. The matchup against the Sixers is not great, but in a game that should stay close where Giannis plays his full minutes, I think the upside's through the roof for him. So if Giannis is good to go, he's one of my favorite studs today for sure. I don't really like anything else from Milwaukee, though, outside of Giannis. So that really does it for this game. Moving on to the next one, Detroit and San Antonio. Now, on Detroit today, this is going to be a pretty important team to keep an eye on because Detroit is on a back-to-back, and we've seen on back-to-backs lately that they will rest a lot of guys. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Mason Plumlee sits today. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremy Grant sits. I wouldn't be surprised if Corey Joseph sits. For now, I'm going to assume that all these guys play, but just keep an eye on this. It's very likely that we do see some guys wind up resting for Detroit. Probably, Plumlee, Grant, maybe Joseph. But if everyone's in, I don't see a ton that stands out from Detroit. Nobody at their price tag really catches my eye on this slate. Nothing really stands out, at least on DK. I guess Jeremy Grant at 6,900, if he plays, you could go to. But overall, I don't like much on Detroit today. But if we do get word that, Grant's out, Plumlee's out, Corey Joseph's out. If we get word that those guys are resting on the back-to-back, then, yeah, we can look to Isaiah Stewart. We can look to Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes did not play Wednesday, but I assume he'll be back for this game. And then, like, a guy like Josh Jackson, we could also look to. We'll note, though, that, Isaiah Stewart, he's been really good without Plumlee, but his price is up to $5,800 now. Even if Plumlee gets rested today, I don't think Isaiah Stewart's like this lock-and-load play at $5,800. He would still be a good option, but he would not be like a first guy in for me. I didn't have as much interest in him last slate with all the good value that we had that day. Obviously, I kind of got burned by that. Stewart went out there and had a really good game once again, but he'd be viable for sure if Plumlee rests. $5,800, though, I would be a little bit hesitant to go there just given, his price is coming up a good amount. But it's tough to really break down this Detroit team until we, actually know who's going to play for them because I assume we'll probably see some guys wind up resting for Detroit. We'll just have to wait and see, though. But moving on to the San Antonio side, also a back-to-back for the Spurs, so keep an eye on that. I'm pretty sure last time the Spurs were on a back-to-back, DeMar DeRozan rested, so we could maybe see some guys rest here for San Antonio. If San Antonio has everyone in, if everyone plays here, nothing really stands out from San Antonio, at least not in my opinion. Like, nobody at their price tag really stands out. But if some guys wind up getting rested, then that'll definitely change some things. Overall, this Detroit-San Antonio game is not that appealing right now, but that could definitely change something, or that could definitely change, if guys start getting rested here, because I assume we'll probably see some guys rested in this game. We can break that down more in the live stream. Assuming we get an update in the afternoon, we can obviously talk about that in the live stream on Thursday afternoon. But moving on to the next game, Charlotte and Chicago. So on the Charlotte side, looking at the Hornets here, you got Terry Rozier at 8,400 at the top. Now, Rozier I didn't have as much interest in on the last slate. Once we got the news that Devontae Graham was playing, Rozier, he was still in play, but he wasn't nearly a priority for me. He had a decent game, 43 DK points in 39 minutes. This is a better matchup today against the Bulls. It's a pace-up spot here, but I don't think Rozier really stands out at 8,400, not at his DK price. Same could be said for Miles Bridges at 7,700. He just feels priced appropriately on DraftKings, if not a little bit too expensive. On Yahoo, though, I think if you do play over there, Miles Bridges looks a lot more appealing on Yahoo, coming in at $22. I think he's one of the better small forward plays on Yahoo. Definitely like Miles Bridges on Yahoo, but I don't really have any interest in him at his DK price. Devontae Graham, not that interested in. In his first game back, played 29 minutes, but only had 23 DK points. Tough to really roster him. Like, we just haven't really seen him have a good game in a while. He feels overpriced at this point. PJ Washington, though, I think is the guy that really stands out from the Hornets here. 5,900 on DK. You can roster him at power forward and center. On Yahoo, he's center only, which kind of sucks, but I do like him a lot over there, coming in at $21. So last game, PJ Washington came off the bench again, which was pretty surprising. They did start Vernon Carey again last game, but Vernon Carey literally played like 3 minutes, and then I don't think he ever checked back into the game. I want to check that real quick. I know PJ Washington subbed in super early for Carey. Yeah, Carey played 3 minutes last game and then literally didn't play the rest of the game. So I would be very surprised if Vernon Carey starts again. It seems like PJ Washington is finally going to move back into the starting lineup. Even off the bench these last 2 games, he's played 34 and 35 minutes. I assume we get PJ Washington back in the starting lineup today. He probably plays about 34 to 36 minutes. He's been starting at center recently, or when he has started, he's been starting at center, and he does get a nice boost when he plays center. His rebounding numbers see a spike. His fantasy production overall sees a spike. The matchup here is pretty good against Chicago. I definitely like PJ Washington today at 5,900. He is by far, I think, my favorite play on this Hornets team. And then Miles Bridges, I like a lot on Yahoo. Not as much on DK, though. PJ Washington, I really like on both sides. But like Jalen McDaniels at his price, I'm not that interested in. That's probably it for the Hornets for me. I think that does it for this team. Now, moving on to the Bulls side, talking about Chicago here. This is also a back-to-back for the Bulls, so keep an eye on that. I assume that everyone will be good to go, but, it's always worrisome late in the season. You get teams on back-to-backs. Like, teams can always just rest guys. We saw that with the Clippers on Wednesday night with Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Rondo all resting. But assuming everyone's in, Vooch at 10K, I don't think really stands out to me. Like, I'd rather play Giannis. I'd rather play Embiid. I think I'd rather play Tatum as well, assuming he's in. Just don't think I'm going to pay up for Vooch on this slate. Now, Kobe White, I do like a lot at 5,500. Kobe White's just been super good lately. He stands out at his DK price tag. He's another strong mid-range option at point guard, and I do like him a lot on Yahoo as well, coming in at $17. Just been super consistent ever since Zach LaVine went on the COVID list, and ever since Kobe White got moved into the starting lineup. He's played at least 30 minutes in 4 straight games. He started all those games. He's put up 45, 25, 38, and 30 DK points. So he scored at least 30 DK points in 3 of his last 4 games. 5,500, still an affordable price tag for Kobe White, especially if we're going to be getting 30-plus minutes from him without Zach LaVine. White should obviously be more productive with LaVine off the floor, should have the ball in his hands more. He's my favorite play for sure from this Bulls team. He's a guy that I do like a lot on this slate. Overall, though, I don't see a ton that stands out from Chicago outside of Kobe White and maybe Vucevic, like Thad Young, Satoransky, Patrick Williams. I don't think I'm considering these guys today. So really, Kobe White, he's the guy that stands out from the Bulls for me. But moving on to the last game of the night, the Lakers and the Mavs. Now, on the Lakers side, we do have some important news here. Anthony Davis is expected to return today. He hasn't played in over 2 months. They said he's going to be on a very strict minutes limit. Pretty sure he's only going to play around 15 minutes. But with AD back, that does make me less interested in guys like Drummond, Schroeder, Kuzma, Harrell. Like, where everyone's priced at on this Lakers team, nobody, I think, really nobody stands out, especially with AD back. Obviously, AD is going to be limited, but, with him coming back, that makes me less interested in all these guys. Drummond is 7,300. I guess you could go to, obviously, if Drummond plays like 30 minutes, he could go out there and put up 40-plus DK points, but with Drummond, or with AD playing now, I expect that takes a hit to Drummond. I don't know if Drummond's going to be as productive playing alongside Anthony Davis. So really, I don't like anything from the Lakers. Nobody stands out from the Lakers to me. I don't really see much on the Lakers side. Now, talking about the Mavericks here, another team I don't have a ton of interest in, Luka Doncic at 11K. You can always pay up for. He's always a guy that's worth rostering, but today I think I'd prefer guys like Embiid, Giannis, Tatum. Just don't think I'm going to get to Luka at 11K. Porzingis at 9K, I don't really have that much interest in either. This is a back-to-back for the Mavericks, so keep an eye on that. It wouldn't be surprising if a guy like Porzingis were to rest here because he's been prone to rest on back-to-backs, but if everyone's good to go, I don't see a ton that stands out from the Mavericks overall. This late night game, just not that appealing. Really nothing stands out from either side to me. You could obviously roster Luka, but me personally, I think there's other studs I'd rather pay up for today. So That does it for all 6 games on this slate, guys. I appreciate you watching the video as always. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button down below before you do get out of here. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well and click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. But anyways, guys, I wish you the best of luck on tonight's slate. Hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.